Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is the Hopenning, a place where hope happens. Marina and I have created a space that is safe and which will definitely bring you hope. We try to make it positive and uplifting, and we welcome you back if you've been here before. And if you're a first time viewer, yay, we're glad you're here. So, I am a rapid transformational therapy practitioner and former teacher. I worked for 34 years as a classroom teacher in Northern Alberta, Canada. My beautiful friend Marina is a full-time clinical hypnotherapist specializing in rapid transformational therapy. And she lives in Calgary, Alberta with two dogs, Marina?
No, it's
Or
one
one?
dog. One dog and one cat.
One dog and one cat, one lovable husband, and she also lives part-time in beautiful British Columbia. So welcome, Marina. And you had an amazing experience, didn't you? Just a couple of weeks ago. So can you tell us about your amazing experience, which will segue into our topic today?
Right. Well, I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't start at the beginning because years ago in 2016, I went to see a lady and she said to me that she sensed very strongly she should introduce me to this book. Oops. You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. My background filter does not work very well. By Dr. Joe Dispenza. You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. There you go. That's better. And I bought the book the same day, and his story is captivating. But other than that, nothing spoke to me. And even though I tried, when he got into the science, nothing spoke to me. So I left it for 2 years. And it was after depression and after going through cancer that he was introduced to me. And this time I got it. It hit home. And this was 2018. And since 2018, I have been frequently, actually, I would say 99% of the days, it would be traveling overseas and missing a day, skipping ahead. That would prevent me from meditating. But every single day I've been meditating. One of his meditations. I've tried different ones, but I've grown with this. So the story of Dr. Joe Dispenza is that I think it was in 1993. He was in a triathlon when he was flagged through by the person controlling traffic, and he was hit by a truck. I think it was a semi. I'm not 100% sure. He was hit by another vehicle, and he was he broke so many bones in his body. They wanted to do the Harrington rod transplant on him, but he studied a lot of things. He did a lot of yoga. He studied a lot of yoga, breathing, Kundalini breathing, and a little bit of hypnotherapy. He was a chiropractor at that point. He had his own practice, and he ended up declining the surgery because he felt that he knew so much about the mind. And so he started to just meditate and focus on healing himself. And 9 weeks later, he walked. And if you look, a lot of people have seen him on the Heal movie on Netflix. So he's in there and he's telling a little bit about his story. Anybody can search him online. There's a lot of things about him online. And his service to the world started to grow from there. And people wanted to know, what did you do? And he started to host retreats. And the retreats grew. And suddenly, one day, somebody stood out of a wheelchair after one of his retreats and meditations. And then he said, okay, I need to find out what's going on. So he got some researchers at the UFC in San Diego. And they are very involved with him now. And they do, when you go to the retreats, they do a lot of research. They do brain mapping, they do blood tests, they do a whole range of tests to see what happens scientifically when a person meditates. So that's what I did. I went to one of his week-long retreats with my husband just a few weeks ago, and man, it was the experience of a lifetime. So the energy alone, it's very heartfelt. I'm a very heartfelt person, but walking in there and just feeling that energy, and then through the week to see how everybody starts to vibrate on the same love level was absolutely phenomenal, and beautiful experiences for both me and my husband. I think that it's just about 35 hours of meditation in 1 week. And there's no way that you walk out of there the same person.
And Joe Dispenza was a doctor. He was a chiropractor,
Chiropractor.
right? He knew every single bone in his body. Chiropractors know that kind of stuff. So I can imagine that when he was within his meditation, that he could actually visualize, because part of Joe Dispenza's um, healing process had to do with visualizing and feeling healed in order to make himself healed. So I've read some of his books. I've listened to him a lot on YouTube and podcasts and stuff. So when you went down for the retreat, that was in Denver, right?
Yes.
Denver,
Yeah.
just a couple of weeks ago. So did he talk much about the visualization process of meditation, and or what kind of meditation is it? Because within my tradition, my meditation looks different probably than Joe Dispenza's, or than someone else. Maybe if you were a Buddhist or a Hindu or whatever, mine looks different than that. So can you take us through the process, a little bit of it, so we can get a better idea of the kinds of work, the kinds of how he did it with you, because you said you could feel it, you were vibrating, you saw people healed. So how did that come about?
It's a very layered answer to this, Fran, because I think he has evolved into so much more than just meditation. He used breathing a lot, and if you lift up the book that you have there, Becoming Supernatural, at some point he explained just the picture of that, and with
The vibrational stuff.
yes, the picture on the right, that's important too, but the cover of it, the front cover, if you close it again. So he described that. So in Kundalini yoga, when they teach the kind of breathing that he does, they
Yeah.
believe that in your first chakra is a coiled up snake. And if you breathe it in the right way, that snake will release. Now, he doesn't use those old religious terms of the chakras. He used blessings of the energy centers. And he said that every energy center has a brain, and every energy center has hormones related to it, from the perineum right through the lower part of your stomach, the upper part of your stomach, the heart, the throat, the pineal gland, and the perineum. They all release something chemically. So if you can, through the breathing, touch on each of them, then there's something chemically gonna happen within you. And that's why they are researching it and doing brain mapping and blood tests and whatever. Because then suddenly when people go into spontaneous remissions, what happened? And now, years later, during the event I went, 7 people got up out of their wheelchairs. How to explain that? I cannot tell you how much I cried, because besides really feeling so much love, to just see somebody who walked in there, who was pushed in there with so much pain and so little hope, and after just a few days, they walk out. So you ask how he does that and the visualizations. He talks a lot, and it's something that I adopt with my own client about you can either live according to the memories of the past, or you can live towards the vision of the future. So, Fran, let's take you, for example. What is there right now that you can tell me you would love to manifest?
My retreat center.
Your
My
retreat
retreat
center.
center.
Okay.
Yeah, which is going to be on a lake, is on a lake. It's on
Okay.
a lake. There's a big dock where I lay on the dock every day, and it's gorgeous. I've got a picture of it right here.
Fantastic. So that
Yeah.
is your vision of the future. Okay. So
Mhm.
now in meditation, you start to say, okay, I really want to manifest. I want to co-create that vision of my future. I want to make that real, like this. But now life happens. Somebody comes to you and say, Fran, you're silly. What is silly? What is silly thing? And immediately put you back into the memory of the past. And then your emotions take you back towards the memory of the past. And suddenly you start to doubt. And suddenly you think, yeah, maybe I should forget about that. Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I won't get the money. Maybe I will never find the. So that is the memory of the past. And the biggest thing, your biggest job is to fight that, to say, and we do this in RTT as well, that's not me anymore. I am now going to live in gratitude as if I already have my retreat. That is your vision of the future. So that's focusing on that a lot through a lot of the meditations. He's working a lot on the blessings of the energy center. And one thing that I've heard recently in one of his lectures is when you do the breathing and the blessings of the energy center meditations, he has many of them. You if you do some of the more intense ones, they have now weighed people before the meditation and after the meditation, and they lose weight. They're lighter. So that's incredible. So everything is energy, Fran. So I'm just going to ask you, as well as our listeners and viewers right now, just to focus to me on something. If you focus, for example, right now on your right hand, and you just close your eyes and you think of your right hand, and you just think of it, or even with eyes open, just look at your right hand. Where you put your focus is where you put your energy. So you will feel sometimes that, okay, that right hand now starts to tingle or there's heat coming from it. That's energy. So now in the meditations, he said, okay, focus on your perineum, what people call the root chakra. You focus on that, feel it, sense it, just focus on that laser focus. And now once you do that, you take it up to the lower part of your stomach, below your belly button. That's the second one. Then you take it to your solar plexus, the higher part of the stomach. And then a lot of those areas start out, it has your kidneys, your lower back, the bottom part of your spine. Then you go to your heart. And the heart is such an important thing. But a lot of times when energy is stuck, it's in that bottom 3 energy centers. And so you start within, and then you go to your heart, then you go to your throat. And I'm pretty sure you've had clients, Fran, where they would, for example, overeat. And then at some point you ask them in our sessions, so if you scan your body and you find the stuck energy, where do you find it? And I cannot tell you how many times I've had something is blocking their throats. And then when you go to that, you see, when you investigate that in our sessions, you uncover that they may have had a situation in their life where they couldn't speak their truth. And they start to eat that away. And it can manifest as other things as well. So if you clear that, and then you go into the pineal gland, which is fascinating as well. And from the pineal gland, you go into what they call the perineum, what they also call the third eye. So pineal gland is from your eyes down. And then, so it's this part of your face. And to your neck to where your throat is. So that's the area of the energy center that it covers. And then pituitary gland is at the top. And once you start to hit those two, that's all those feel-good hormones are starting to get released. And in the pituitary gland, it releases, like, you feel happy. It's happiness that happens. And so some religions call it the third eye. So it's fascinating to experience that and to just experience all that love. We came back and our flight was delayed quite a bit. So we landed at about 1:30 in the morning and came home to an empty house. We were supposed to be back at around 10 o'clock to an empty house. I didn't have anything. So the next morning I said to Wayne, let's go to Costco. Normally going to Costco on a Sunday is a nightmare. And this day I walked in there and all I felt was love. So that was my experience in a very small little nutshell. There's so much I can share. And so what changed in my life since I started to meditate is a lot of things started to go right. I mean, there's so many factors, Fran. I mean, RTD played a major role as well. But there's a calmness that came into my life. One of the best examples is I used to be such an angry driver. And I'm not anymore. It's just letting go. It's just everybody has their place. And that's one very small thing, but just the whole journey I've traveled, I don't know if I should have been where I would have been where I am if I wasn't so dedicated to it. And, growing up in Christianity, I never could manage quiet time like I do it now. And in Joe Dispenza's work, he has a tremendous love for the divine because God is love. And once you connect to that, it is just beautiful. It is so heartfelt. It's so beautiful. So it's just, oh my goodness. I feel as if I glow differently.
And you probably do, right? Because your energy is different.
Yeah.
And Joe Dispenza talks a lot about the negative repeating thoughts that we have, negative repeating thoughts, I'm not good enough, or they're not going to like me, or, I could never do that because of this or because of this. It runs in the family, this, whatever disease it is, runs in the family. I'm going to get it no matter what. My mom had it, my grandma had it, my aunties had it, I'm going to have it. Those are negative repeating thoughts. And when we repeat those thoughts over and over and over and over, thoughts become beliefs, beliefs become the way we vibrate, the way that our chemicals, brain chemicals are being released into our cells. And if you do believe that you're going to get this certain disease because you're going to inherit it, you have inherited it, well, probably you'll be right.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get it.
And
was it because it's inherited? No.
So that is the memory of the past.
The memory.
And in RTT, we talk about the story you tell yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And Marissa Peer even wrote the book, Tell Yourself a Better Lie. So that's exactly the same thing. It's the memory of the past. So what is your future? Can I say that my future self is free from depression? Can I say that my future self is living in abundance? Can I say that my future self is free from disease? Can I say that my future self easily manage my eating? And those are all things that I've seen. It's possible. When you put your mind to it, it's possible. But we work every day, Fran. with those old looping thoughts that tells you you're not enough.
95%?
Yeah.
95% of us is the looping thought. 95%. That's insane.
It
But
is.
yeah, only 5% of what we do and think and say and act is conscious.
Right.
And 95% is the program running in the back, the software. We just
Exactly.
downloaded whatever it was that our parents told us,
So
and
let's
their
go
parents
back.
told them.
Let's go back to meditation, because you opened that book on these sketches there of brainwaves. So what is meditation?
Sorry?
What is meditation?
Meditation for me is stopping and starting to pay attention to my thoughts, and replacing those thoughts with the counter thought. So, and it can be throughout the day, or it can be for 15 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 minute or whatever amount of time you need it to be. So if we have a morning meditation practice, I know you do, I do as well. I sit down and I have a mantra that I say to myself over and over and over and over until it becomes a thought, repeated positive thought. So within that mantra, within that time frame, everything slows down. Things just slow down. And rather than thinking about the phone call, the text message, the email, what I have to do there, who's mad at me, who's happy with me, whatever it is I'm feeling goes away. And I'm only concentrated for that moment in that space where I am holding space for myself, holding space for the God within me, giving time to hear God. Because when I'm out of the meditation, that's when inspiration comes. Once I've meditated, once I've given my time, and I think about it as time, quiet time with God.
Yeah.
Once I've given my quiet time to God, God gives me the abundance. It's like I'm spending time with you, Marina, and so our relationship gets better. So when I spend time with God, my relationship with God gets better.
Right.
He's always been there. I just wasn't. I wasn't there the way a good friendship should be.
So what is preventing you from getting in there, from quieting your mind?
The world.
What about thoughts?
Yeah, every thought that travels past your brain. It could be a static electricity of all the thoughts that bombard a person during the day. So as soon as a person would get out of bed, whoever is immediately starts on the treadmill of life.
Right. So I had to become very strict with myself, because but I get up at 5:30 every morning to meditate. I used to get up, make myself a coffee, check my phone, take about an hour, then start to meditate at 6:30. And then I realized the moment I turn my phone on, the moment I start to get with my thoughts involved in anything else, that meditation is a struggle. So now I get up, I come to my office. I have to, because my cat will drive me crazy if I don't. Close the door, and I start to meditate. And then when I'm done with that, I get up, make my coffee, read my emails, check my WhatsApp messages, whatever it is. But in what I asked you about, I don't know if you can really see this. Beta brainwaves. Yeah. Are there squiggly lines that goes like this? And that is those thoughts that keep your mind so busy that you cannot shut off. It's those thoughts that will keep you not sleeping. When they start to go all the time. So meditation as well as hypnosis, is to turn those thoughts off. And we call it induction in both meditation and in hypnosis, where you tell somebody, we do roll up your eyes as high as you possibly can. And that's a hack. It gets you a little bit faster into slowing your brainwave down. We do deep breathing. Dr. Joe Dispenza does a lot of breathing. He also does a lot of imagine yourself in absolute nowhere. Why? Because if you can quiet your thoughts to the place where you are just really present in the moment, you fall asleep. If you're in your bed, that's why you don't lie in your bed doing meditation, because you will fall asleep. But if you can slow your brain waves down, the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. If you can become quiet, if you can quiet your thoughts, that's when, exactly as you say, that's when the inspiration, that's when the experiences, that's when the love can hit you right in your heart. But when you think, oh my gosh, did I feed the cat? Oh my gosh, my stomach is grumbling. So it's constantly overcoming yourself, constantly quieting your thoughts down. And it takes work, it takes practice. But boy, oh boy, is it worth it. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I sit here and I think to myself, it's worth it. It's worth it. And it is. It is.
So I started meditating back in 2000. So it's been 23 years. And it was part of the 12-step program.
Yeah.
So I entered a 12-step program after my marriage fell apart. And because it was for my own sanity, and through the 12-step program, I learned about meditation. And at that point, I had been praying, but it's unless you do it, unless you know what you're doing, basically it's only begging, right? Praying is begging. God, this is what I need. Lord, please give this to me. Up until that point, that's what I was doing. So during the 12-step program, I started to understand what meditation was, and so I started to meditate every morning. And at that point, my kids were small. I had a super busy life. I would get up at 4:30. I was getting up at 4:30 for years, right? To meditate, because if I didn't do it then, I wouldn't get it done. And over the years, when my life has become less busy, the time has gone to 5:30 or 6 o'clock. But it's still super important. And I found at that time, back in 2000, it gave me the calm I needed to deal with a marriage that was falling apart and a husband who was very difficult. It gave me the calm I needed and I guess, the compassion for him and the compassion for me, um, to be able to handle all of that goes around with a marriage breakdown, especially if the marriage breakdown is because of an addiction. And so, yeah, it gave me my sanity back. If maybe I never had my sanity, but it gave me sanity. So thank the good Lord for that. And then throughout the years, it's morphed, it's changed a little bit, but yeah, I hold by meditation. And when you deal with a lot of people at one time, um, like in teaching, it gave me the pause, right? So a situation may have been like just totally bizarre, and I wouldn't know what to do, but then I would. And it was interesting. I would watch my own mind. Uh, there's all kinds of things that kids do that are just outrageous. And so you're thinking and you're looking at the behavior and going, wow. But then that pause, that wow pause, within a fraction of a second, I already had an appropriate response that worked. I was called the child whisperer. And it's interesting, right? Because, I mean, it was only because of meditation, I think. that I was able to have that ability to do that, because really sometimes some of some of the things I did, like, it wasn't what a normal teacher would
Mhm.
do. So, for example, if a child was so out of hand that he needed to go sit in the hallway for a bit to do his work, so I'd put him in the hallway, but then I would go and bring him a cookie like 3 or 4 minutes later, because it's like, I don't have a problem with you. I still love you. It's just your behavior. So have a
Mhm.
cookie, and when you're ready, come on back in.
Amazing.
I mean, where did I get that?
Right.
It's from meditation. It's from the inspiration that you get when you actually take time to give God back some time.
And listen, you listen. You
Listen.
quiet your mind so that you can get that guidance. You can call it intuition. You can get it guidance from above. I don't care what you call it. But if you don't quiet your mind, you don't hear it.
Hmm.
So you made space for that, Fran, so that you had that intuition, you had that inner wisdom that
Yeah.
guided you to help that child through that crisis moment in such a wise way. No wonder you're going to officiate one of your old students' wedding this
Yeah.
weekend. So
Yeah, it's gonna be wonderful.
yeah,
Gosh,
yeah.
I get to officiate a wedding this weekend. This weekend is a long weekend in Canada. So it's a wedding in the
Oh, that's right.
mountains.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, it's a wedding in the mountains, and
Mhm.
it's gonna be so much fun because, yeah, she's a student, a former student of mine who's now 26
Amazing.
years old, and her mom her mom and dad, to this day, they get teary when they talk
Mm.
about I was exactly what their daughter needed.
Mm,
So,
that's so amazing.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
amazing. So
So,
I wanted to share my screen with you because I wanted to show people if they go to drjodispenza.com, there's a lot happening here. So this is drjodispenza.com here. And if you ever are curious about that, you can click on this proof button. And on the proof button, it would take you to a page where mine is a little bit stuck here. There you can see the brain mapping and the scientific research, and you can learn more. He also has healing groups, coherence healing groups, people all over the world. They would so in the retreat we had healing sessions where somebody who's sick would lie on the ground and 8 of us would basically do this beautiful healing session over them. And but there are coherence healings all over the world as well, where people who are sick can go and learn more about how they can get healing. And then there are stories of transformation. I love this. You can go to YouTube and you can search Dr. Joe Dispenza testimonials or stories of transformations, or just hear. Sometimes when I clean my house, when I drive in my car somewhere, I binge listen to stories of transformation, because anything and everything has been healed. There are so many stories. So this is Eve here. She was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She went through chemotherapy, special diets, alternative treatments with no success. And then she discovered Dr. Joe's books and she began meditating. And she went to a week-long retreat in Mallorca, and she participated in coherence healing. And then you can read what exactly is the story. There are thousands upon thousands of stories. I've met people. We have a group here in Calgary, and it is fascinating to hear when they tell their stories and they cry, when they go to their doctors and their disease, there's no trace of it left. It is fascinating. It is fascinating. So another thing that I wanted to draw your attention to. when you meditate, Fran, how do you feel when you're done?
I feel calm.
Okay,
I feel ready. I feel I feel the I feel the best I can be in that moment.
mhm,
And I feel like recharged.
right?
I guess it's about the energy, right? I never thought about it
Exactly.
before.
So now you open your eyes and life happens. What happens with that energy?
Uh, when I when during the day,
Yeah,
is that what you
you're done with your
when
meditation. Let me stop sharing this. You're done with your meditation
yeah.
and you go out, and let's say you have to drive to Edmonton early in the morning for an appointment, and traffic cuts you off and they honk at you. What happens with that energy, with that feeling good?
That type of stuff doesn't affect me.
Okay, so you
It
are great then, because
yeah.
normally when you get out of the meditation, you feel amazing. Let's say you
Mm.
create a new future, you create your retreat. And then you get out of the meditation and then you turn the news on. And immediately it steals some of that energy. Or you get a phone call from somebody who tells you, Fran, you're crazy. I don't think you can do this. And it's all woo-woo stuff and whatever. It steals that excitement away. It steals that elevated emotion away from you. So Dr. Joe said in his life, how could you take that energy of excitement, of gratitude, of living in your future? How can you take that with you? So he designed what he calls a walking meditation. And oh man, it was one of my favorite things at the retreat, because for the first 10 minutes, you have your eyes closed and you listen to this absolutely beautiful, heartfelt meditation. And then he says at some point, open your eyes and I'll walk as your future self. It was fascinating. And at that point, quite a few of the people in wheelchairs said, well, in my future self, I'm not in a wheelchair, and they would get up. And so it was fascinating to experience. But I'm going to play you a video now. And there is an event that's happening on September 23rd that I want to draw attention to. So I'm going to share my screen again. When you go on Dr. Joe's website, you'll see right at the top, join Dr. Joe on September 23rd. I need to move this little thing here. It's in my way. Okay. Join Dr. Joe September 23rd to walk for the world. Our first live international walking meditation. Now, if you click on that, it's going to take you to this page. And you can register. It's free. And he will send you, register with your email. He will send each person the walking meditation before the event. But there's more. When you click join us, there it tells you Saturday, September 23rd. That's a specific time. So for me and you, Fran, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. And I'm going to play this video to you now. But when you register, you scroll down, 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 down. Here is an interactive map. And it shows you where people all over the world have registered. So in South Africa here, which of course close to my heart, there are a few groups. There you can add a group, that +1. Now I want to go here to the world where you and I are. So we have a big group already in Calgary that's going. Now, if you click, for example, on where you live, or you can type in your location there, and there is no other group there. You can see Calgary's right here. Then you can add another location. So for Northern Alberta, where you live, you can add your own, and then you invite all your friends to come walk with you. So let me just escape out of this. Now I want to play this video to you because nobody can explain it better than Dr. Joe.
Imagine a global community walking into a new future together with a collective attention and a clear intention focused on change. This September, will gather to walk for the world, uniting countries and cultures in a live, international walking meditation. When we walk as one mind and one heart, a higher consciousness emerges. We move in sync, in cooperation, rather than competition. We walk as it, with hearts and eyes wide open, releasing the old stories to become an evolved version of ourselves. We embody the future that we want to experience. At the end of every walk, we arrive at a new beginning, with a commitment to carry a new vision of the world into the present moment. Moment by moment, day by day. When we change as individuals, we can truly change the world. Each one of us is part of the whole. When you grow, we grow. When you are joy, we are joy. When you are love, we are love. What's possible if we let go of anger and hatred, resentment and judgment, fear and pain? What's possible if we trade fear for compassion, anger for love, division for unity? What's possible if a collective community from around the world comes together for a walking meditation? One walk, one step could change everything. Join us and walk for the world.
Walk for the world, make a choice, make a change. Walk for the world every day. Walk for the world, who am I gonna be, what am I gonna say? Walk for the world in every way.
Okay, you can also just go to walk for the world, walk for the dot world.
Walk for the dot world?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Count me in.
So there are quite a few people around the world that's going to do that. If you go on the website itself, I just trying to click out of here. There is something written up about that as well that is worth reading, because if you really listen to Dr. Joe's heart, then it's really quite amazing to see, how he really believes it's time for the world to unite in love. And I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I think all churches, all religions should join us. I think this is important. And I think this can really change our lives.
And I think the important thing is to remind ourselves and to remind others that we are love.
Yeah.
We just sometimes forget,
Mhm.
and we start getting to be part of the world, too much part of the world, rather than let's just remember that it's all about love. It's
Yeah.
all about unity. We're one world.
Right.
I won't even get on the topic of religion, but we all came from one place, and we're all, we're one. And we're meant to be reminded of that.
And I
And
think now is such an important time for that.
yeah, and it's all we have.
Mhm.
Whether, there's and I won't even go on because I mean other people will talk about the weather and they will talk about whatever's going on in global. But I mean, our place is a place of hope.
Right.
And
Right.
so to be reminded that we have the power, we have the power. Can you imagine what would happen,
Yeah.
Marina, if every one of the almost 7 billion people on this
Right.
planet
Right.
were reminded that it's all about love? It's not about
So, you
money.
know,
It's not
Fran, where you
about
put your
anything but love.
attention, you put energy. And I asked you earlier to look at your hand. Where you put your attention, you put your energy. Now, if
Mhm.
all of us, as many as possible, for 1 hour on one day, at the same time, put our energy on love, even if just the love inside of ourselves, we will change the world.
Mhm.
Where 2 or more are joined together.
Mhm.
Now, I know there are already thousands registered for this, but I would love to see more. I know
Mhm.
we're not in a billion yet. So
Yeah.
I am so excited about this. And I think it's a very important day. So when you see this, I please encourage you to join, tell us, share with us, meet other people who does, whether you have meditated in your life before or not. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's so important to walk in love. Wayne and I had a conversation while we were in Denver in the hotel room one night, and we were gobsmacked about the things we saw, the things we experienced. And Wayne said to me, "What do you think it is?" And I said to him, "It's love." But he said, "Marina, but love is." You and Fran have a conversation at the end of it. You would say, "I love you," and she would say, "I love you," and that's love. I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "You tell me you love me." I said, "Yes, I do." "You tell the grandson you love him." "Yes, I do." "You tell our dog you love her." "Yes, I do." But what makes this different? This is what anybody who ever believed anything can tell you. God is love. And when you go through this and you get touched by that and you feel it in you to the point where that energy is so beautiful that it radiates from you, that every person you see, you touch, whether it's with a smile or kindness or just speaking in your mind, a gesture of love to them, to the point where you only see the beauty in everybody. And I think that's where we are going. And that is the ultimate hope that I have for myself and for the world.
Yeah, because you have a grandbaby, and that grandbaby is inheriting what we are giving him about the environment, about the economy, about our own spirituality.
Yeah.
He's learning from 0 to 7, what age 0 to 7, what this world is all about, Marina.
Yeah.
And it's up to us, right?
Right.
It's up to us to tell those 0 to 7-year-olds because that's where it's necessary.
Right.
That's where it's
Exactly.
necessary.
Exactly. So,
Anyway,
well,
darling, it's
okay.
been wonderful
It
catching
was
up with you.
wonderful. You as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to tell our people that I now own a website. I
Yay.
have a website,
Can you tell us your
inspired,
website?
yeah,
Please, Fran.
inspiredhealinghypnotherapy.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
There,
So next time we'll make sure your name and business name and website is on there as well,
it would
so
have
that
to be
people can
on
see it.
mine, right? Somewhere
Yes,
over
it
here.
will be on yours.
I'll do my best to try to figure it out.
Right, right.
I'm getting better
Oh
at
well,
IT steps.
yes,
Yeah, one step at a time.
exactly. It's a process, Fran. It's not a
Yeah,
marathon.
thanks. Thanks for
Okay.
reminding me.
Yeah. Okay. And thank you so much for joining us today. If you
Yes,
like what we do, please subscribe. Please be in touch. We always love to hear from you. Until
yeah.
next time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Marina. Bye-bye.
Bye.